Hi guys, Fu here, and I'm bringing you my review for the Crypt and Asylum haunted houses in Mesa. Crypt and Asylum is located out at 1445 West Southern Avenue in Mesa. It's out on the southeast corner of Fiesta Mall. There's two two haunted attractions and a fun haunted maze. Either the Crypt or the Asylum is $15 each, both for $20. And then for both of the haunts and the maze is $23. Maginoni and I decided to do all three in order to sort of be fair about making sure we caught everything that was there. So there's the Crypt, which is Crypt themed and then sort of moves on to some other stuff. There's the Asylum, which is insane asylum themed and then sort of moves on to some other stuff. And then there's the fun, I can't remember, is it a psycho maze or a crazy maze or something along those lines. Then there's the maze, which I'll get to. So I started off with the Crypt. It has a really, really awesome facade for this. It looks like a mausoleum. There's some fake stained glass windows with lighting in them. There's a cool animatronic of like an angel of death statue that moves really slowly. The outside is cool. I'm beginning to think like, ooh, this is gonna be good. I've been waiting for this. This is gonna be like a come from behind victory this year. This is gonna be the underdog that I wasn't expecting. I am ready for this. So, you move into the room. The guy gives you the spiel about don't touch the actors, blah blah blah, the normal haunted house stuff. You're in a cool room. It looks like a mausoleum. There's some caskets up on the wall, and then you move into the maze itself, and it immediately becomes disappointing. Like right then. It sort of looks like an old house, but with chain link fence in the middle. And then you move into a dark room with strobe lights. And this guy kept telling us, this actor kept telling us, oh, it's that way, but that way was a wall, so we're all like, hitting this wall, is this a door? What's going on? And he's like, oh, it's that way. Well, you're in a dark room with strobe lights, and I don't know which way it is, so if you tell me that way, I'm gonna go that way. And then I just stood by a wall until he decided to stop being mean. And then we went the rest of the way. There's some solid areas and a lot of filler where it's just, like, the plywood walls that everyone uses and plastic sheeting or some sort of weird light effect. Or some emo kid sort of growling at me from a corner. I was rather disappointed. When you did get into an interesting area, they were well done. The lighting was interesting. Some of the actors were good. Some of the scares were good. But they're separated by large areas of not a lot going on, full of people who are either not really scaring you or outright sort of being nasty. There were lots of instances where someone would come. I'm not going to say lots. There were several instances where someone would jump out and get me and be like, oh! And I like being scared. That's why I'm at a haunted house. And they're like, ha ha, I got you. Dude, you're like a zombie or a killer or whatever you are. You're not going to like, ha ha, I got you. Yeah, you got me. It's your job. Good job doing your job. Please continue to do your job. Don't, like, stop doing your job to laugh at me about you doing your job. Keep scaring me. Like, don't stop. Don't break your character to pat yourself on the back. There's some cool animatronics in there. You get to move sort of from the indoor space, although you never quite feel indoors because most of the time there's not a ceiling and they don't address the ceiling, to a sort of outdoor space that has some interesting stuff going on as well. But it sort of moves from this sort of mausoleum to a torture chamber to, I don't know, then there's an old truck and a casket, so I guess that's like moving dead bodies, except it's not like a hearse. And then there's a hallway full of old monster movie people that don't do anything. There was one really good scare where they siphoned us one way past what I thought was a dummy and then siphoned us back that same way, and then he was an actor. Or he had always been an actor but had been staying perfectly still. Good job, that guy. You were wonderful. You scared the out of me. It was perfect. But there's not a whole lot else going on in here. It felt like a lot of nothing, a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, a lot of actors that were poorly trained, and then a chainsaw guy at the end who looked more surprised to see me than I was to see a chainsaw guy at the end of a haunted house. So, and the ending didn't really do anything. You'd sort of had nothing go on for a long time, and then chainsaw guy. Moving on to the asylum. Again, it had a really cool facade. It looked like an insane asylum. There was a guy who brought you into a room and gave you the spiel. This guy was really good at giving the whole haunted house spiel. He gave it, like, in character, and it was really cool, and he worked everything in, like, don't touch the actors because they're infected, you know, none of the walls have been disinfected in a while, so don't touch those. Like, he worked everything into the sort of theme. That was really great. He did a really good job. I enjoyed that immensely. Again, this was sort of one of those build-ups where that first room was really well done, and then everything sort of drops off kind of immediately. You come into a room with a guy in a wheelchair. He asked me my name. I told him. And then that was it. I don't know what the scare was there. He called out my name, so I assume he was, like, feeding my name to the rest of the haunt, but no one ever used it again. So if you're gonna feed my name so that you can use it elsewhere, it'd be cool if you used it elsewhere. I feel like the asylum overall was stronger than the crypt. It kept sort of the insane asylum theme for far longer, or at least a medical theme where you moved through sort of an insane asylum and a morgue and a kids area in an asylum. But there were some weird areas where things didn't really make sense for the insane asylum. There's a giant closet, like really giant closet that you walked through, and then a tea party. I mean, the scary closet thing, I understand. We've seen it used before. It is creepy when done correctly. This one's really well constructed and done, but nothing happens there. And then there's a really great scare in the morgue. There's some interesting use of space with that area that I thought was really great and well done, and all of that's well constructed and well done with good acting. There's a lot of in-between area where not a whole lot happens, or there's that plywood and plastic sheet thing going on again. But overall, I felt that this was stronger than the crypt. Towards the end, you move into, like, clown land, which, again, I'm over clowns. I'm going to say this every review that I have to talk about clowns. I'm over the clown thing. I don't get how it has to do with the insane asylum. I guess insane people equals clowns. I don't really know how that works, but okay, I'll go with it. Aside from the fact that I'm over clowns, there were some really fun things going on here. Actors doing a great job pretending to be mannequins, being in spaces I don't expect them to be, and these guys were top-notch at doing that. There's a couple of things that really scared the crap out of me. Clown on stilts with a chainsaw. Not normally one to run from the chainsaw guy, but clown on stilts with a chainsaw was... I was out of his way. Let me tell you, I was out of his way. But with the clown area, there's not a lot of construction around them. It's fabric that you have to push out of your way and white plywood, which is sort of effective when you're running from a giant clown on stilts, but just seems really sort of cheap, and yeah, it just seems cheap to me. With how long this haunt's been around, I feel like there should be a bit more going on, and I was really relieved to get to the end of this maze where there was the chainsaw guy waiting for me. And then we moved on to the psycho or crazy or whatever it was, I can't remember, maze thing. It has, like, biohazard acid 50-gallon drums on the outside. It's all neon colors, and I was like, oh, okay. They said this was fun, but there'll be actors, so let's do this. I'm ready for some fun at this point. I don't want to rip on this haunt. There are some good things going on here. Obviously, it has a following because there were a lot of people outside here. Do not spend the extra $3 on the maze. Really, really don't. I was very, very disappointed to walk through some poles with red and white plastic tarps stretched between them for a while. Like, you can't, it's not really a maze where anything happens, it's just red and white plastic tarps. Some of them you can push aside, some of them you can't, and you just walk through it until you find the other side. We got like 1 or 2 minutes of trying to figure that out before the actor was like, oh no, you're lost, and then he basically just told us how to get out. That was it. And I feel like I really wasted the $3 on that. Basically, I should have opened up a hole in the ground and tossed the $3 in, because I think it would have been more interesting to me. So just, if you go, just do the Crypt and the Asylum. Don't bother with the maze. I don't think it would be fun even if you're 2, or maybe if you're like really, really drugged. I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather see them take the time and effort they put into that, because it does take some time and effort to put that together, the money, and just put it towards anything else. Anything else. You could put it into having a fry truck outside, and I think it would be a better use of time and money than this maze. So tell me what you think, rate the video up or down, and I'll see you guys next time.